I knew something was wrong the moment the house stopped making noise. Not quiet, like at night when the world rests. This was different. It felt like the building itself was holding its breath and waiting for me to notice. I'm telling this now because I am the only one left who can. If I stop, then it ends for real. If I keep talking, maybe the sound of my voice keeps it away a little longer. That is how it always worked. Sound meant I was still here. Silence meant it was close. I moved into the house in late October, when the trees were already bare and the air tasted like metal. It was cheap, too cheap for the size and the neighborhood. A long, narrow place with peeling white paint and a porch that sagged in the middle like tired bones. The landlord smiled too much when he handed me the keys and said people just did not like old houses anymore. The first night I slept on the floor because my bed had not arrived. The heater clicked on and off, and the wind brushed the siding like fingers dragging across skin. I remember feeling watched, but I told myself that feeling comes with new places. I said it out loud. New places always feel strange at first, ill. Around 3 in the morning I heard a sound beneath the house, not a bang or a scratch. It was softer than that, like someone shifting their weight slowly so the floor would not creak. I lay there staring at the ceiling and counted my breaths until the sound stopped. The next morning I checked the basement. It was unfinished with dirt floor and thick wooden beams darkened by age. No signs of animals, no broken boards, just a smell like wet earth and something old that had been sealed away for a long time. Days passed and I settled in. Work during the day, unpacking at night. The house behaved when the sun was up. It only remembered itself after dark. That is when the sounds returned. Footsteps where no one stood. A door upstairs opening then closing slowly. The sound of breathing that was not mine. I started leaving the television on at night. Low volume, just enough to fill the space. When the noise was there, the other sounds stayed away. When the screen went dark, the house leaned closer. One night while brushing my teeth, I heard my name whispered from the hallway. Not loud, not clear. It was like someone testing the shape of it in their mouth. I froze and watched my own face in the mirror, pale and shaking. I whispered back, "Who is there?" Nothing answered. But I felt something step back. I stopped sleeping upstairs after that. I made a bed on the couch and kept the lights on until dawn. I told myself I was being dramatic. That stress and lack of sleep were playing tricks on me. That is what you say when reality starts bending and you want it to straighten out again. A week later, I found the first mark. It was on the inside of my bedroom door. Deep grooves carved into the wood like fingernails dragged down in panic. I knew they had not been there before. I would have noticed. That night the house learned a new trick. It copied my footsteps. Wherever I walked, it followed a second later, matching my pace perfectly. When I stopped, it stopped. When I ran, it ran. I stood in the kitchen shaking and whispered, "Stop." It did. I think that was when it realized I could hear it. After that, it became patient. It stopped chasing. It started waiting, long stretches of nothing. No sounds, no movement. Just the sense of being observed by something that understood time better than I did. I began to talk to myself constantly, narrating my actions, filling the air. When I ran out of words, I hummed. Silence was the enemy. Silence gave it space to move. One evening I came home and found the basement door open. I never opened it. The stairs led down into darkness that felt thick and heavy. I stood at the top and listened. From below came a sound like someone trying to breathe quietly while crying. I slammed the door and backed away until I hit the wall. That night, every light in the house turned off at once. The television died mid-sentence. The refrigerator stopped humming. The world went flat and dead. I whispered, "Please." Something whispered back, "Thank you." It did not come from any direction. It came from the walls. If you are feeling this story already, make sure to subscribe and tell me in the comments if you would survive something like this. After that night, the house began to change me. I stopped going out. I stopped calling people. Every sound felt dangerous. Every pause felt like an invitation. I slept in short bursts and woke to find myself standing in rooms with no memory of walking there. The mirrors started lying. Sometimes my reflection moved a moment too late. Sometimes it smiled when I did not. I covered them all with sheets and towels, but I could still feel eyes behind the fabric watching patiently. I finally searched the house records at the local library, old newspapers, property transfers, obituaries. The house had one name attached to it over and over. A man who lived alone for decades. No family, no visitors. He died inside the house and no one noticed for weeks. Cause of death was listed as unknown. The article mentioned neighbors complaining about strange noises at night, talking, crying, silence. When I returned home, the front door was unlocked. Inside, the air felt warmer than it should have, heavy, expectant. The basement door stood open again. This time I went down. The dirt floor had been disturbed. A shallow pit dug beneath the center beam. In it were old bones wrapped in rotted cloth. A jaw hung open like it was still trying to speak. The house groaned above me. The lights flickered on. I understood then. He had learned to live without sound. He had taught the house to listen. The thing that rose from the shadows did not look like a man anymore. It moved wrong, like it was remembering how to use a body. Its mouth opened and closed silently, practicing words it no longer needed. I screamed and the sound hurt it. The walls shook, the lights burst. It recoiled like I had burned it. That was the secret. Noise hurt it. Life hurt it. I ran upstairs and grabbed everything that could make sound. Pots, pans, the radio. I turned it all on and struck metal together until my arms ached. The house screamed back. The thing followed me, slowly melting out of corners and doorways. Each step it took was quieter than the last. I backed it into the basement. I kept the noise constant, relentless. I shoved it into the pit with the bones. I lit the old newspapers and dropped them in. The fire roared. The thing finally screamed, a sound like air tearing. The house shook itself apart. Beams cracked. The floor gave way. I ran as flames swallowed the dark. I woke up outside as the house collapsed inward on itself. Fire crews said it was an accident. Old wiring. Old wood. They never found a body. I still sleep with the television on. I still talk when I'm alone. Because sometimes late at night when everything goes quiet, I swear I can hear a house somewhere learning how to breathe again.